Hello students, this is an alternate explanation for problem 2 from your topic 19 notes, and this is a problem about bearings. So in this problem, I'm going to set it up the same way we set up the original. The explorer travels 5 kilometers due south, and so you can draw that there, due south, and he then travels 6 kilometers on a bearing of 100 degrees, and so the 100 degrees is from the north, and so it's still this, and this is still 6 kilometers down here. Then he wishes to go straight back to where he started from. So to calculate the distance he'd have to travel, an alternate way of doing this is to figure the vectors and add these two vectors together, because this one plus this one would equal this one. So the first vector is going straight south, and so that's 0 going left or right, and -5 in the y direction. And then the second vector you can find by just drawing the bearing of 100 degrees on the coordinate plane. So here's 100 degrees. It goes 10 degrees below the x-axis, and you can draw a right triangle in here. We put the 6 on the hypotenuse, that's the 6 kilometers. And then you can do a sine or a cosine equation. The sine will find your y, and the cosine will find your x, and which is really just the same as these here, the I component and the j component. The y value is negative because it's going down, and the x is positive because it's going to the right. And so we get the vector 5.91, -1.04. You add that to the first vector, and that you find the vector that would go from his starting point to his ending point is 5.91, -6.04. That's the vector going from the starting to the ending. So he wants to go backwards, so we're going to use the opposite of this vector, -5.91, 6.04. Now to find the distance, we're just going to find the magnitude of this vector, and so we're going to do the square root of the x term squared plus the y term squared, and you get 8.45 kilometers. Now the bearing that he has to travel, we are going to draw this vector, -5.91, 6.04 in the coordinate plane, and that lands us in the second quadrant over here. Oops, you can't see that. Let me move it. So in the coordinate plane, -5.91, 6.04, it lands us in the second quadrant, and we can use inverse tangent to find the angle in here, which is 45.6 degrees. But the bearing comes from the north and goes clockwise, so we need to add that 45.6 degrees to the other 270 degrees right here. And to round our answer to 3 sig figs, we would get 316 degrees.